So for my last topic, I saw a tweet go viral, where they're talking about each platform is different, different culture, different timing, different humor. You need someone who knows what works at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday on a specific app. One person, one platform, full time, native to the culture. Brands figuring this out will look like geniuses in 3 years. And most of what I saw from other marketers in this space was that like, "Oh, yay, Twitter has discovered social media managers." And I thought it was just, like, funny that that was, like, the main thing that, like, people got out of that. Maybe I'm wrong, but what I think is, something that we can talk about here is, like, the idea that you're gonna have people that are native to the platform, that are like creators on the platform, creating content for you that they know what works best. They know like how to use themselves to talk about your brand in a way that's authentic and not, salesy. One of the things here that I always think is like important for like marketers is to kind of be paying attention to these like trends and like what people are saying online, because by the time it gets to more of like the mainstream audience, that means you're kind of a little bit too late if you hadn't already been thinking about how to approach that, direction. And I think where the social media marketer is going to be able to come in here is to be basically the manager of these influencers on the different platforms. I saw somebody else tweet about how you're going to have like a social media manager for each channel and then have that be like the one like thing that they do. And I think like it makes sense because it's like we already see so many like social media people complain that they're expected to do, every channel, they're expected to do video editing, they're expected to do, events and then other marketing on top of that, that like, as we've been talking about here, social media in general, like all these channels are their own, like, have their own audiences, their own algorithm. And so, like, you need someone that's like able to specialize in that type of like marketing in order for like the company to, reach the people that they're gonna, reach. And it's okay, it's good to be like a generalist, but at some point you are gonna need like a specialist to kind of come in and like do that work for you. Did you see this tweet, Jason? Would love to hear your thoughts. Just kind of like how you guys think about it in house, as like a company.
Yeah, so I've always believed this that you need a different social media manager for each platform, or at the very least, you need to split it up into writing first platforms and video first platforms. And so, what that used to mean and what it still basically means is like Twitter and LinkedIn are writing first, whereas Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are video first. And it's very hard to do both well.
Mhm.
It took me, a long time just to build up my Twitter audience to 40,000 plus, and I've been going for a while. It's taken me a while to build up my LinkedIn. These things don't happen overnight, and a lot of these SF engineering brained MFs assume that marketing is really easy, or it's just like
Yeah.
something you could quickly optimize for, or use AI
I mean, there's an AI CMO that comes out every week, right?
every week, or just like the new disgusting thing is that AI ABG CMO, where it's just hire a fake Asian AI girl, which is very
Oh,
weird.
I
I'm
haven't seen
very
that yet.
yeah, very confused by that. But yeah, I mean, look, every platform's super different. The language of it is extremely different. And how we do it in house is we have Jovian, who you had on the podcast. He's
Mhm.
kind of manning Instagram and YouTube. And then we have another guy managing Twitter and LinkedIn more so, and we all are like in-house creators as well.
Mhm.
All of us are building our audiences, from my team to the engineering team. We're all building in our own aspect. We have one guy, 60,000 on Instagram, another 2.4 million on Twitter. Our engineers like a little less because they're actually engineering, right? So like this is nothing new, and I've been preaching this for 3 years now. I could look back at my tweets of you need somebody on different platforms because they're
Mhm.
so different. You as a founder, as a startup, you don't need to be on every platform. So
Mhm.
don't feel pressured to hire ahead of every platform. Hire the ones that make you money, and then the
Mhm.
rest you could kind of like put on autopilot or like try your best on. But like at the end of the day, like we don't have a blue sky audience. So I'm not posting on blue sky, right? Like we don't
Is
really
that still a
even
thing?
I think they have dozens of users worldwide apparently, but like,
Dozens of users.
it's crazy. So I don't know. I think like hire. especially for platforms that make you the most money, like, you need platform specific if you wanna stand out, but for the platforms that don't make you bread, like, we're not touching Reddit at all because it's just a cesspool and, like, yeah, there's money to be made on there, but, like, there's just so much more money other places that won't, like,
Mhm.
ban you for just posting
Yeah.
normal things,
Are you
so,
on
like
Threads yet? Because Threads is
yeah,
growing
probably should be,
quickly.
like, I was on Threads the day it came out, and then,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, same.
every time I'm on there, it's just so boring,
Yeah.
and, like, I hate to be like, I like Substack too. I was on Substack in 2021, but
Mhm.
there's something about both of those platforms that, like, I don't know, maybe people are just too mentally healthy or, like, happy, but they're just so
There's a lot
boring.
less, like, fun,
There's a lot
you
less
know?
fun. I just
No,
scroll
like,
through.
jokes,
It's just
yeah.
so it's painful and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's fake, it's painful, it's
It's funny
people
because, like,
aren't yeah.
LinkedIn, people are finding humor there, like,
I'm having
even
fun.
though
LinkedIn is better than Threads. That's, like, a weird
Uh-huh.
take where it's actually, like, also, like, if you go to substack.com right now, and you're not logged in, like, it will show you, like, where I know sorry to Nathan, I know he was early at Substack,
You're
but
fine.
it's getting strange. Like, I was on Substack, 5 years ago, and now it's just strange right now where, the first thing I see is a guy, like, rocking his baby to bed as a picture. I'm like, "I thought this was, like, the intellectual, like, blogging platform." And, like, Threads is even worse where I just see, like, brands, like, cheering each other on with, and, like, Taylor Lorenz. Like, they're both just terrible, and, like, I don't know. I miss the old Substack where it was just people writing blogs, to be honest. I love that.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
was actually really nice, but not as good for the valuation, so I get it. It's
Yeah,
all
no,
good.
definitely. One shout out I will say though is their NASA team is creating really great content on Threads. I mean on all channels, but they do have one person that deals just with Threads. So it does show you that some companies are taking it seriously, a lot more so than I
Yeah,
think
maybe I
most
should
tech
be taking
companies.
I probably should be taking both of those more seriously.
Mhm.
Again, it's just like a time thing, like, when all your money comes from,
Yeah. No,
a
no, no,
couple
definitely.
platforms, it's hard. It's a challenge.
No, definitely. I mean, and that's like a lesson, right? It's like you have to be where your audience is going to be. And it doesn't make sense to spread yourself thin across all the channels because if you're not actually, getting returns from, Blue Sky Threads, even Instagram, right? If like you're getting more people from like TikTok because the
Yeah,
views are
yeah,
coming
yeah, of
from there and the
course.
algorithm is working in your favor a little bit more, then like, focus on TikTok. I think, overall lesson here is like, try to hire the people that are platform native that know those, particular platforms as best as you can, right? Like obviously things change all the time. Like Instagram is changing right now, right? Like they're doing trial reels where it's like you're now able to post content to
Yeah, it's
just letting
great.
it go like
Yeah, I love
what is
trial
it? Like
reels.
going like God with like, the trial reels like
Yeah, yeah.
um where it's like nobody that's following you gets the content. But then, you also can have the different channel for just like the people that are following you. So that's something to be like testing out if like video first is a mandate that you want to have at your company. Um the other thing here is this whole idea of like, what does it mean to be a social media manager versus like a social media creator, right? Like, usually social media managers aren't the ones that are actually like the face of the brand, though we are starting to see some of that, right? Like, Morning Brew has like, there are
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that are like, they're like writers, right? Or like in house content creators that are like, doing like the skits and, bringing people on. And we're seeing that with, when you see like journalists join in-house teams but bringing their audience along, right? Like we saw that with CNBC, a journalist is joining the team but is still doing her own like vertical. So you're kind of going to see like more companies kind of bring people in house without having them be employees because they're able to be a bit more free and create things in a way that they would want to, that they probably wouldn't be able to do if they were in house at the company. um and then ideas spread when they hit a new audience. So this is like using that as a testing ground. The channels that, like, like TikTok, Instagram, like trial reels, where you can try your ideas with like a more I guess like an audience that doesn't actually follow you, and then work that backwards into like your actual audience in order to grow that engagement and potentially grow your following so that you start getting new followers.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you need people who are experts on different platforms. You don't hire, like, the cook to clean dishes. You don't
Yeah.
and this is not, like, an expertise thing, but, like, you just need people with Adam Smith was right. Going back to that is, like, there's divisional labor for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the best at TikTok in the world. Very, top notch on Twitter, but, like, that's why you hire out, and if you aren't ready to hire for, like, a full-timer, like, you hire influencers or you hire part-timers, or you just skip the platform entirely, and you could still have an extremely successful business. I think that's what people forget sometimes is, like, you can just ignore
Hmm.
what is going on the timeline.
Yeah. Well, one thing that stuck out of a couple things that you mentioned here were you went off the fly for a couple of like your most viral posts where it's
Yeah.
like it was just like randomly like, oh, I just, felt passionate about it. So I like, busted
That's
it
how
out at
my
that
best
moment.
posts are, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I recently went viral and it was like midnight thought that I had. And it's like, oh, it's never the ones that you think are gonna go viral that go viral. And it's certainly never the ones that you like actively plan for. And I think that takes us back to takeaways for the whole podcast about what does organic mean, right? Like, a lot of the times, the organic content that goes viral is hardly ever thought out, which is like, funny to think about because like, ha- those are the things that you don't plan for, right? So I'm more like thinking here that it's like, how do you kind of create as close as you can get to like that organic content, which has kind of been like the through line with this whole episode about like, Jason like was creating like the event where, you would then have like organic content that came out of that because like the people that attended were going to put out the content, not that, Jason was paying for it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then, like, having like the in-house creators for like each of the platforms, they're more likely to go viral because they know the platform, they know what works. And then, in terms of like, film and music and brand marketing, some of my favorite content now are these like, user generated like, fan cams of like the summaries of what happens in movies, or like if it's like I think it was like the heated rivalry, you were having like the fan cams that ended up getting more people to go like look at the show, and then that person ended up getting hired by HBO because they were putting together such great content. So that's what matters now, is like the type of content that you're putting out being organic to the platform that you're creating, and as authentic as you possibly can without it, being like fake. Though we're kind of getting to that thin line of, is it fake if someone is actually putting it together? But ultimately, what does it matter if it gets you the views that you want?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, everything we're on the internet's not a real place, and
Yeah.
I think we gotta remember that is the internet is not like, it is a real place, but it's also like, you know have you ever just, like alright, so when I was getting hit pieces on me, I it was a very,
That's
very
right.
stressful time in my life. It was
Mhm.
very, very scary week. I was also in the middle of raising $3 million the same week, and I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna get killed because I was getting death threats and, nonstop, and also, like, back and
That's
forth with
wild.
VCs, and then I just went for a walk through Central Park, and wanna know what? It was fine. There
Yeah.
was not there's nothing going on in the real world. It was just a
Mhm.
normal place, and, like, you gotta touch grass, like and,
Mhm.
also as, like, for creators out there, it's, like, crucial to, like, just touch grass and, like, be bored. Like, I go offline every Saturday, every single week for the last, ever since Charlie Kirk died. I started taking off Saturdays because it was just such a the internet can be such a repugnant place,
Mhm.
and, so I've been offline every Saturday, and, like, you gotta take that time off because the internet's not a real place, and, like, I guess that's why we're seeing, the rise of events, but, like, again, if you're
Yeah.
gonna host an event, don't invite me to Dorsey. That's all.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jason, for joining me. Where can people find you?
All right, find me at I am Jason Levin or just go on memelord.com, send your death threats there, so my engineers read them and build better software. So,
Awesome. And then you can follow me at Sonia Bushes everywhere and the podcast at Meme Team Pod on YouTube and then Meme Team Podcast on Spotify and TikTok. Thank
all
you.
right, cool.
Bye.
Thank you.